But I am here sitting beside Lori Nichol, and we're going to continue our conversation about choreography. So, Lori, what do you think about what's happening on the ice so far?
Well, I think there's been a lot of great scares and a few disappointments, unfortunately, but that's the name of the game.
Boy, it sure is. Do you know, we've been having some wonderful questions coming in. People wondering about the structure, let's say, of a short program. When you're putting together a short program, you have so little time. So what is the mystery? You know what? I'd like to take a look at one of my favorite short programs from last season. It had to be Carolina Costner from Worlds, where she won the short program. So what was it like?
Oh, it's a really tough go because there's hardly any time to do anything but the elements. So you really have to use the residual speed of each element to help you get into the next one. But when you're a Carolina Costner and you're this fast and you can handle so much complexity, it does offer a little bit more time to have some more creativity.
So do you find it's because of an agility in the mind, or is it just the feet?
Oh, it's both, and the two have to work simultaneously for anything to happen.
Do you have a hand in the costuming?
Well, Carolina is blessed with having a great designer, Roberto Cavalli, so I don't think she needs my advice on that. But she's a terrific girl. You know, she'll give, when you're choreographing, 150% to the point where she has some really wicked falls and has huge bruises the next day. But that's what you have to love about her. She'll try anything and she'll give it everything she has. And because of that, there's a great deal of creativity that I hope you'll see in her step sequence coming up fairly soon.
That had to be one of my highlights of all last season. I would look at the beginning of an event and think, oh, and then I'd think, wow, I'm going to get to see her short program, and in particular that footwork sequence. I must have said it time and time again, it was my favorite footwork sequence, certainly top 5 in the world ever in the history of my world.
Wow, how terrific. Thank you. Well, I have to say her coach, Michael Hood, has a phenomenal training center where he trains edges and steps beyond belief. Every day he comes in with new combinations of steps and turns. So his students know how to do just about anything and everything possible. And so when you step on the ice with a skater like that, and he also coaches Thomas Werner, whatever you can come up with, they can do.
That's
or
great.
They'll die trying.
So if, speaking of Thomas Werner, oh wait, you know what? No, we're going to wait till after this footwork sequence, now that I've talked about it.
And her quickness of feet and her ability to change her balance is remarkable.
I don't think people realize quite how tall this girl is, and for her to be as agile as she is really remarkable. She has such a light quality.
Well, and she'd always done softer and sweeter programs, and this was a big stretch for her, and she ended up having so much fun with it. And so she worked a great deal on it. You know, when the kids love their program, they're going to work harder on it, so that's the #1 job of the choreographer.
Well, I love the sassiness of it. That's what
Yes.
it really was it was just sassy.
And it was convincing her that
Yep.
sassy's okay, because you can still be a great human being, but on the ice when you're performing, you can have all sorts of different characters.
It was feminine and charming. Now, Thomas Werner also was particularly interesting last year. There's Michael Hoop.
There he is, yeah.
So you work very much in collaboration with the coaches, it sounds like.
Oh, absolutely. A great teamwork is everything. I've had that with Michael Hood now, who treats me like a princess when I go to Germany, and with Frank Carroll, a dear friend for now 15 years, who gave me that wonderful chance with Michelle Kwan from the age of 12 to 20. I actually first started working with Thomas because I was invited to Sweden to do some choreography classes and improv, and that's when I noticed Tommy's character and how much fun he was, and I thought, oh wow. So I just kept that in the back of my head, and fortunately I was asked by his coaches to come and choreograph a short program for him. Stepping on the ice with him to the music, this swing that we found, was just like a party. We just had fun. We came up with every crazy step we could think of, and somehow it got done. I'm really not sure. So hopefully, again, when he breaks it open, right now he's being quite serious getting the elements done, but when he breaks open the step sequences, you'll see what a fun guy he is. And he just loves feeding on the audience. That was actually improvised right there.
That's what's fun about watching it with the creator of the steps, you get to see if, in fact, that was there in the first place.
Well, I much prefer it when they add things to it as opposed to taking them away, which makes you want to cry. Here we go.
That kind of musicality has to be innate, I think, in the skater. It's not something that you can really teach them, can you?
Oh, yeah.
You can teach
You
them how
have
to
to
feel
spend
music.
a lot of time making sure they get on all those beats and with the exact position they need to be in, especially with the complexity of the steps they're doing.
Yeah.
Everything has to be exact, and this is one place you cannot improvise because often it can change a third of your rotation in the wrong way, and you're really in trouble with losing a feature of your levels.
Have you had occasion to work with somebody who cannot hear music or feel music at the elite level, or are they pretty much all good with?
Oh, to get to the elite level, they all have to have a certain degree of musicality, and if not an innate musicality, a sincere desire to do everything they can to get it.
There's where that strong work ethic comes in.
Oh, it's everything, and that's something that Michelle Kwan had, and not only Michelle, but her coach Frank Carroll. So the coach and the skater both have to have that work ethic, day in, day out, for years.
So this year, Evan Lysacek, he's a longtime skater of yours, and you've done some absolutely innovative, creative, and unusual programs for him. This is his Four Continents from this year.
Yes.
Now, you've been fine-tuning this program.
Yes, Tarasova did the original program, and then because I work rather closely with Frank, I mean, of course, I'll do anything Frank Carroll asks me to do. I feel like I owe my life. He asked me to help expand on the program, and so we've been working especially since Four Continents, on pushing out his edges, using his abilities, because when I watch him in a program, he's not using completely what a wonderful skater he is and innovative artist that he is. So we worked a lot on helping him feel confident and using those wonderful long legs and making it feel like it's an advantage as opposed to a detriment.
Do you know, that's the interesting thing about skating bodies. Sometimes these young people don't understand what it is that they're painting, the picture that they're painting. And this, again, is a tall boy and can really use that to paint a picture and make a very strong statement.
Absolutely. It automatically, the moment you step on the ice, you have more command simply by size alone. Now, the danger in that is that if you don't use it, you look even weaker.
Well, and you can look a little bit, as my mom would say, a little egg beater-like if you get too frantic with the upper body. That's what I like about the control, and I've certainly seen a definite evolution of this program over this season.
Well, and I'm hoping his short program is coming up very soon, and I'm hoping that he will allow himself to push out more, to have the confidence to push it out more. You know, he's been trying, he was really fired up when he was here in Toronto a few weeks ago, and he's trying to maintain a good balance between fire and calm, which is very much what Patrick Chan is hoping for tonight. Mm-hmm. That balance of being really into the performance and yet staying very present in their thinking.
Mm-hmm. It's a real delicate balance, to say the least.
Oh, it sure is.
Well, Evan is going to be skating second in our next group of competitors.
And you can see right here, he's just not pushing as much, but I hope he can really pull that out because he is a better skater than what you're seeing right now, although this was still wonderful. And it's something that I think Patrick Chan does in his step sequences is you will see him covering from side to side because his edges are so deep and the turns are so clean, and he'll just give everything he has, and that's what's so endearing. He represents freedom on the ice.
What I would notice if I were to put the two boys side by side is, for me, Patrick's range of motion is completely from one side all the way over to the other, where Evan, for me, is much more up and down. He's forward and
that's
backward.
Right. But he sure has performance skills,
sure does.
and he sure believes in what he's doing, and that's so much of it. If they believe in what they're doing, it's a treat for everyone.
Well, and I think that his experience on the world scene, and you know what? This is somebody who goes back. If you tell him that there's something that needs to be changed, what I really respect about him is that he says, okay, this is the result I want, so I'm going to have to make the changes. Good for him.
He's a remarkable student in that way, and he's also, I think, a really great guy.
So we're going to have two more groups of competitors coming up in this short programs, including Evan Lysacek, Nobunari Oda. And we've got, of course, Patrick Chan, who is skating second last, which is a very advantageous position, don't you think, for the short program?
Well, it can be. It's all about how you occupy your mind, as we say, after the warm-up, because it can seem, a half hour can seem like 3 hours. You just want to get out there and do it. So it's really whether you skate first or fifth, you've learned over the years to take advantage of it. But really, fifth or sixth is occupying that mind.
Well, we're going to see how everybody occupies their mind and how they occupy us. As soon as we come back from this commercial break, we'll be right on the ice with Group 9. Thank you very much, Lori.
Thank you, PJ.